Man, what's good, people? It's your boy Adrian Omega here. Hey man, welcome back to the channel. Hey, I apologize. It's been a hot minute since I've actually made a video with me talking in front of the camera. But you know what? I had a lot of big changes happen. The last time I seen you guys, I mentioned that we were in the process of purchasing a new home. Guess what? We did that. So it took a lot of time to get moved in, get my wife settled, and get my kids settled, and also get myself settled, because I had to transition that old office to the new area. Now, it didn't really go how I wanted it, but it turned out better than I expected. So I ended up turning the garage, well, not the whole garage, but a little section of the garage into the studio / office, and boom, I think it's dope. I got the red accents, soundproof panels. I got the soundproof wall right here. Man, and look, I'm super excited about this. But in a future video, I'll go into a more detailed view of the office. But for now, I'll give you a quick rundown. So right here is where I have the office part of it. This is my MacBook Pro hooked up to a 27-inch monitor. So I have like a dual monitor thing going on right here. Behind me is my drafting table. That's basically where my iPad Pro lives. So I do a lot of digital art on my iPad Pro and on Photoshop on the Mac. But here lately, I've been finding it a lot more convenient to actually draw on my iPad Pro because I can take it anywhere with me. Having this flat on the desk, kind of hurts my back. And actually throwing it on the drafting table with that little incline makes it a whole lot better to draw. But hopefully, one day in the future, pretty soon, I'm gonna get that Cintiq and it's gonna sit right here. The desk is basically an L shape from here to there. Now this area that I've got boxed in, I would say it's about 8 feet by 8 feet. And I love it, man. I think it's good. I think it's dope. So also right here on my Mac is where I record our podcast. This is where I edit the videos for you guys. And sometimes I use it to sit out here and watch movies or shows. Got a pretty dope sound system underneath the desk here. My neighbors haven't complained about it yet. Good thing we're all around the same age, so they like the stuff that I like. But anyway, I want to cut to the chase. So today's lesson, I want to teach you guys something that I've been learning and actually getting better at. In Photoshop, it's called the Lasso tool, and in Procreate, it's called the Selection tool. Now, I've been using this to create objects that have that hard edge when you're trying to shade it. And sometimes I use the soft brush a little too much. Actually, all the time, I use it too much. You know, you can't get that hard edge all the time unless you are real good at erasing. But I'm gonna show you guys how I go about doing it. In this piece I created recently, I call it Ghost, which is inspired by Ghost of Tsushima. I've been playing a lot of that, and if you guys haven't played it, I'm telling you, check it out. It's dope, bro. It's really dope. So I'll show you some quick tips on Photoshop and also show you on Procreate how to use that Lasso tool and the Selection tool. And stay tuned to the end for that time lapse of Ghost inspired by Ghost of Tsushima. All right, guys. Here we are in Procreate. So I'm going to show you how I use this Lasso tool. You can do the same thing in Photoshop. It's basically the same thing, but in Procreate it's called the Selection tool. So it's going to be up here in the top left corner, this little S-like shape. Select that. You can do automatic. What automatic does is it'll detect by the pixels. Freehand is the one you're going to want to use, is where you can just draw your own shapes. Make sure you connect back to the dot, and if you can see, all these little diagonal lines is the areas that you can't affect. Anything that doesn't have the diagonal line is an area you can't affect. Same thing with the rectangle tool. You obviously guessed it, just a rectangle or a square. You can affect everything in the square, but you can't affect anything outside of the square with the slanted lines. Now if you go down to the bottom, you can hit invert, which is down here, and it swaps it. So now you can't affect anything within the square, but everything outside of the square. This is a real good tool, and I'm going to show you how I use it. So first, let's get rid of that. Let's go back to freehand. Now you see these little decorative I don't know what you call them, but they're little decorative things on his armor. Like he had this little nicely tied bow under his chin, I guess, and these little things hanging off. I used the selection tool to create these things, so I'm going to show you how I go about doing it. So I'm going to add one more to his uniform. Let's put it right here. So I got my selection tool selected, freehand, and I'm basically going to draw this shape out as best as I can. Make sure you connect the back. Now I'm going to get myself a soft brush. I use Ergo Josh's brushes, his soft brush, and it just depends on how you want to start. I usually go from dark to light. Now the light is coming in from the left side of this picture, so take my brush size down, and as you can see, it's creating that hard edge and making that shape. So you could just kind of layer it with your darkest and then come back with a lighter on this side. But an easier way, I guess, is just make the whole thing dark. Get that edge on there. Or just come through real light right here. Push harder for the edge. Then you want to get you close to white, not all the way white, but real close to it. Soft brush again. Make it a little smaller, and you're going to want to bring in that highlight that's right here. Now if you look at your circle, you can just have the edge of it touching it, just the edge of it. And the harder you push, obviously the more paint you'll put down. Now for these little tight spaces, I make it a little smaller for like the string. And just throw a little extra in there. Go up to the right, your smudge tool, have that on the soft brush as well. Make that a little smaller, and you can go in and you can blend this so it doesn't look like too much of a hard edge on the inside. You basically just move the paint around with it. You can pull this white towards the center. And then deselect it, zoom out, there you go. And that's how I use the selection tool. I also use it for edges like, say, the nose. Same way I used it with that, or the side of the face where it cuts off, how that light hits. How that light's hitting from right here. That was with the selection tool. Also on the nose, selection tool with the lips. And what I mean by the hard edges, so you see how this has like a hard edge, you can see it. This one kind of doesn't, it's a softer edge. But I did that on purpose just to show like depth of field, if that makes sense. And you can use it to create other shapes. Like right here, I use it for the sword. The whole thing is a hard edge. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you got any questions about it, hey, leave a comment below. Yo, man, I hope y'all really enjoyed that. I'm really excited about getting everything I need set it up so I can continue making more videos and to continue helping you guys out, man. I love being creative. I love creating things. If you got any requests or any shout outs you want to do, leave them down below in the comment section. Also, mollywomp that like button, hit subscribe. Until next time, see you in the next video. Peace.